Okay? So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is this. When you try to please everyone, you please no one. Okay? When you try to please everyone, you please no one. So, what you need to do so how do you not please, how do you come up with these decisions? And it's really pretty simple. As Dr. Wahby said earlier, you come up, whenever you come to a problem, whenever you come to something, there's a couple questions you need to ask. And there are a couple of words. How are you going to get a solution to the problem? How? What do we want to achieve? How, what? Why are we doing this? How are we going to do it? Why are we going to do it? What do we want to achieve? Where do we want to be at the end of the process? And who are we doing this for? Who, what, where, when, and why? And then how? Any solution you come up with, any problem you come up with, you use those letters. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. When you come to those, to any problem that you have, and you try to answer it with those words, try to answer each of those, you're going to be a much more effective leader. So consequently, be like Dr. Wahby. Win the awards in several years that he has won. Be like the great faculty members here at the university. Be like the great employees that we have here at the university. I want you to work harder. I want you to work real hard. I want you to treat other people the way that you've been treated, you would like to be treated. I want you to care about people and let people know that you care about them. I want you to realize when you come up and hit brick walls, they're there for a reason, and don't give up. Don't give up. The world is full of all sorts of stories that I could tell you about for the next day and a half of leaders who never gave up. Winston Churchill, okay, the great orator. He was a great speaker. They invited him to be a commencement address speaker, okay? Everybody came to the address realizing that this is a man who basically, because of his inspiration, kept the British people inspired when they were being bombed by the Germans. Okay? So everybody gathered around, they could hardly wait to hear Winston Churchill's address. And they sat there, and the introduction went on for forever. And finally, Winston Churchill got up and he said, looked around at the crowd, and left the crowd with these words: never, 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 never give up. And went and sat down. The crowd was amazed. But guess what? They remembered his message. Okay? That's the last message I have for you. You have made great gains to be here. I want you to be as outstanding as Dr. Wahby and the other great faculty members and the other great employees that we have at Eastern Illinois University. I want you to be that great, and hopefully the things that I've shared with you this afternoon will help you achieve that greatness. Okay? There you are. So, does anyone have any questions at all about anything that I've said? Anybody disagree? Yes. Wait a minute, I have to get over here. I told this to my group last night. And that is, I wear hearing aids. Okay?
Yeah, I think I have about 3 questions.
Okay. I hope I have 3 answers. If not, I'll make them up.
Yeah, the first question is on the story of the donkey that you talked about. And quite well, you ended it saying when you try to please everyone, you ended up pleasing nobody.
Right.
So I want to see how we can draft this into a workplace setting. Like, let's say in my place of work where I work, I happen to be the most junior person at work. And I have, like, say 10 people ahead of me, and I have to please all of them. So what do I do?
What you have to do, the most important thing, in my opinion, is you have to please yourself. You have to do what you... Now, I'm assuming that you're still learning, okay? So therefore, whoever your supervisor is going to give you some advice, okay? So you need to listen to that person, whoever the supervisor is. But you can't listen to all 9 people. So whoever your boss is, you need to listen to and you need to please them. And then you need to please yourself. You need to realize, but if all 10 people try to tell you something and ask you to do something, you're going to be going this way, this way, and that way. So therefore, my suggestion to you would be this. Listen to what your boss says. Try to please your boss. Try to go that way. And listen to the other 9 people. They might have good suggestions, but pick and choose. And realize that the person you have to make happy is your boss who employs you. And number 2 is you. And if your boss tells you things time after time after time that you don't agree with, then it's time to look for another job. Okay? What's your second question?
Okay. Yeah, my second question is, I believe that at one point or the other in our career as individuals, we have challenging moments.
Yes.
So I want to know what has been your most challenging moment while serving as EIU, president. So.
What was the most challenging moment? My goodness, I have many. I care about students. Okay? I care about students very much. And sometimes that's difficult because of the fact that when you're a university president, when you're a vice president, there are competing interests. Okay? There are people who want this. There's people who want that. But I felt like if you made the students happy, if you worked with the students, provided them the best education you possibly could, that would be the best you could do. As far as challenging moments, I had a lot, but there's 1 or 2 things, and I always get sort of choked up on this, okay, and it's not a good thing. But I've had to have the occasion, when I was Vice President for Student Affairs, we've had students who've died, okay? Remember the year 2000? Everybody, the Y2K, you guys are too young to probably think about this, but when you hit the year 2000, everybody thought that everything in the world was going to stop. The computers were going to stop. Everything else was going to stop. Okay? I'm thinking, okay, what's going to happen? I always remember my very first phone call. And this is when I talk about being challenging. My very first challenging moment was from the Chief of Police of Eastern Illinois University Police, and said there has been a murder in Collinsville, Illinois, which is down near St. Louis. And it was one of our students. Okay? So anytime I had to deal with a student who was killed, we had students who were killed in auto accidents. We had students who were killed who sadly committed suicide, made a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Those were challenging moments for me, when you have to talk to the families and tell them, we're sorry, because I care so much about people. That is a challenging moment to me. That's why, yes, I have competing interests. The faculty would like this, the students would like this. That's all true. But when you have to deal with something like that, that was something that was very difficult for me. So I would consider that to be probably my most challenging thing that I had.